Hello folks, welcome back to my channel. In this video, we will learn how to build a to-do application by using Vaadin, SpringBoot, and PostgreSQL. So here is the output of the application. We will have two panels. In the top panels, there will be a label and also text input for inserting for our task. Like for example, learning caching. Caching. Once we press enter, it will be inserted into a available panel. And in this completed panel, the list in here will be moved into the completed panel if we check that the task is already completed. You see, task learning cache moved to completed. If you see here, it is completed learning caching. Yep, that is all for the output. Then let's start to build the application by generating our project. Let us visit Vaadin starter, start.vaadin.com. I want to start a project. The project name is Vaadin to do app with no layout. Then let's just download. The artifact is Vaadin to do app, and the group ID is com.wisdonsalt.app. We will use the latest Vaadin version and also the latest Java version. We will use the default front-end build tools, which is npm, and we will use PostgreSQL database. We also need, I don't need a Git repository, and I think that is all. Let's do the download. Yep, download is already completed. It should be available in my download directory. So let's see in the terminal. Clear. I will move to downloads. Then grab Vaadin. We have Vaadin to do app. Yep. Let's open this project. Vaadin to do app. All right. Like usual, we will have some default files in the main Java directory. It will be there is a main public class for the starter and also the default application properties. And now let's start from the dependency first. Let's open form.xml. We will need dependency for Lombok optional true, and also we will need dependency for Spring Boot auto configure, and we need a dependency for Spring Boot Docker Compose, and the last we will need the flyway for the migration. Yep, cool. Our dependency is now completed. Let's refresh these dependencies in order to be downloaded by the project by clicking this icon here. All right, let's continue to create the Docker Compose. Docker compose.yaml for the database version 3.8 services db image is Postgres 14 Alpine. I want it from Alpine, and the container name is Vaadin to do db, and then let's map the ports from 5432 into 5433, and then let's put some environment configurations. Postgres user equals to Postgres password equals to pgadmin, and then Postgres db equals to Vaadin to do db. Let's try to start this Docker Compose. Yep, it is started. As you see here, the database is ready to accept the connections. All right, let's continue to create our model. We will create the to-do model. It is an entity, and the table name is to-do, and then it will require an ID, ID attribute. I don't want this to be auto-generated, and I want this from the identity, and then I don't think we will need this because we will have it from data. All right, let's clean it up. We have ID. Let's continue for the task, and the next field we will have boolean for the completed. I want this boolean completed. Boolean completed is yeah, I think that's all. So let's try to create a repository by using GPA body, which is already provided by IntelliJ IDEA. And the name of the repository is to do repository. I don't need a criteria API specification. It is Java. Cool. And then now we will create our database migration. db/migration. Let's put the first migration initial schema.sql. I want to generate a table. The name is to do. Cool. We have an ID, identity non null. The task is for car 255, completed boolean. I want to put default value to be false. Now let's set up our DB connection in our IDE. Here I want to create a new connection for the PostgreSQL, which is already provided by our Docker Compose. The port is 5433, username is Postgres, password is pgadmin, and the database name is Vaadin to do db. It works. See, cool, it's work. And let's open our application properties to change everything that should be matched with our Docker Compose. We want this pointed to port 5433, and the DB name is Vaadin to do DB. Username is Postgres, password is pgadmin, and I don't want this to be initialized by default GPA entity manager, so let's set this to false. Let's start this application to make sure that the migration successfully completed. All right, it works. It works. Let's see in the database result here. Let's refresh. Now we already have a to-do table, which is representing our migration script here. And now let's continue to create our UI. I'm going to create the to-do view here. This to-do view is annotated with root default, and it's extending the vertical layout. And then let's create the default constructor for this. I want directly inject the to-do repository here. Final transient to-do repository, to-do repository, to-do repository, to-do repository. This dot to-do repository equals to-do repository. Right. Let's see the example. In the top row, we will have a title, and everything is set in the center of the layout. So in order to do that, let's create a method called setUpComponents. Create setUpComponents, and then I want this vertical layout to be in full size, and also everything in the layout will be in the center by using set size full. And if we want to make it in the center, set line items alignment center. The first element we need h1 from Vaadin, which is called title, is a new h1. The title is Vaadin to do application. Add title. Let's try. Oh, sorry, I just restarted the laptop. I need to rerun the Docker. So that I need to start the Docker Compose again. I think it's already started. Now start the database. Yep, it started. Let's try to run the application again. Alright, it works. Let's take the example again. In the second row, we will have the input layout, which contains two components, label and the text field. Let's create private horizontal layout input layout. Input layout equals to horizontal layout is a new horizontal layout. Input layout dot add label no text, new text. The text is what needs to be done. What needs to be done. And the second one is the text field, because text field needs to have a listener. So we will put a text field in the subclass, not within this method, so that it is accessible in the listener method later. Private text field, no, not from AWT, but it's from the Vaadin text field input task. text field input task is a new text field, and let's add the text field input task into the input layout. Input layout dot add text field input task. And finally, we can put input layout into the main layout, which is to do view. Add input layout. Let's see again the result. Yes, now we have what needs to be done. All right. The next is the third row. We need a tab. Let's open an example Vaadin in the Vaadin example. In the Vaadin documentation, let's see the tab fields. I need the tabs. Tab details, a new tabs, new tabs. All right. I don't know why it's not showing here, but basically we will use this example. Let's back to our IDE. Tabs. All right. Tabs. Tabs is a new tabs. Tabs. These tabs will require the child tabs. The first child tab is available and completed. Available tab is a new tab. The name is available. And tab completed tab is a new tab. The label is completed. We'll put available and completed tab. Finally, add tabs into the main layout. Right, let's see again. Right, cool. Now we have the available and completed. The next is I want to create the list within available and the completed. The next is the output layout. We will require a tab sheet here, which is available and completed. Let's take an example from the Vaadin documentation. Developers documentation. I want to get components for tabs. Yep, tab sheet. This is what I want. Show me the code. Tab sheet is a new tab sheet. Then we can add anything, any content. Right. Let's create a tab sheet. Tab sheet output layout is a new tab sheet. Put layout dot add. The label is available, and we will require component. Let's create a list component. No, I mean vertical component. For example, vertical component, and also completed layout. It's also vertical component, but we will define more detail about the vertical component that is within the available and completed tab. And finally, we can put output layout into our main view. Add output layout. Let's see the result. Yes, now we have two tabs for the available and completed. And the next is we will create a logic to get the data from database and show everything that is already completed in the available tabs. Everything, I mean everything which is available in the available tab and the completed in the completed tab. So in order to do that, I will create a method which is called get to do's. Private, it is the output is vertical layout get to do's, and in order to make this method can be used for the available and completed, so let's put an argument boolean completed. I want to get the data first from the repository layer. Final list to do to do's is a new array list. Import this as a list. I'm not going to get this from array list. Instead, I will get it from the repository. So let's create the repository implementation for selecting based on the to-do field. List to do find by completed. Find by completed boolean completed. To do repository dot find by completed. Alright. If to do's is null or to do's dot is empty, then just return the new vertical layout. If it's not empty, then let's show the data from the repository. So that I need to iterate the to-dos for to-do to-do is to-dos, and then I will provide. So this is basically a horizontal layout, so that I need to provide as many as data in the repository in the database which is to be represented by using the horizontal layout. So that I need to create the horizontal layout, task layout is a new horizontal layout. Then we will wrap everything into the list of verticals. Okay, so that I need to create a new vertical layout here. Out vertical layout out. Vertical layout is a new vertical layout. Then we will return vertical layout again. Task layout will have a text field and also the checkbox. And as you see here, there is a border radius, and also the border color. So there will be some CSS functions that will be implemented in the horizontal layout. So let's put the CSS implementation first. Task layout dot let's just justify first the content mode into the center, into between, because we want the size is equals for the text field and the text box and the checkbox here. And then let's set line everything in the center. After that, let's apply the CSS implementation. Task layout dot add class name Lumo utility dot border dot all, and then task layout dot add class name border color dot primary, and there is a border radius. Task layout dot add class name border radius is small, and let's put some vertical and horizontal padding. Task layout dot add class name vertical padding dot small, horizontal padding dot small. After that, we will create the text field and the checkbox. Final text field task is a new text field. Text field task will have a value from the to-do.getTask, and then the next is checkbox. Checkbox checkbox task is a new checkbox. Checkbox task dot set value from the to-do dot get completed. Then we put the text field and checkbox into the task layout. Task layout dot add text field lay text field task layout dot add checkbox task. After everything is set for the task layout, we will put all task layout based on the list of to-dos into the vertical layout. So vertical layout dot add task layout. Let's see. Still there is nothing here because we don't have any data. So let's try to create some data migration again. v2 underscore underscore ini data seeding .sql. Insert into to do id task and complete it with values. I think we don't need ID because it is auto generated. The task is learn Java. It's not completed yet, and learn database, learn Redis, learn Vaadin. Let's check if it is directly started. No, I think we need to restart our server. Yep, still not appear for the list of the available tasks. I think we missed some codes here. Yes, the get to do's is not yet implemented in the available tab. So in order to do that, we can call the get to do's. Available means it is not completed yet. So it will be using false parameter, and here get to do's from the true parameters. Let's see again. Yep. Now we have learn Java and learn database, and everything from the database is listed here. All right. So as you see here, if we compare this with the example, it's quite different because the tab sheet is not maximized yet, and also the width of the text field is not maximized yet. So we need to adjust this tab sheet and the text field. Yeah. In order to do that, let's see from this implementation, we want this text field task with the full width and also the output layout with minimum width into the 50% of the layout. Let's see again. Right. The next step is we are going to add an action listener for this text field. When we press enter, after we fill the value, we fill the task, like for example, wake up early, then we press enter, it should be available in the available tab sheet. Okay, so in order to do that, let's create a new method which is called setup listeners. For every listeners we are going to use. Okay, in this section, we are going to utilize the text field input task dot add key press listener the event if event dot get key dot equals key dot enter, then get the value. The value is text field input task dot get value is a task string task. Then let's create a new to do a new to do dot set task task to do dot set completed. It's not completed yet, and then I think it's clashing with the previous field. We can remove this field. All right, now it's not clashing again. The next is we are going to save this to-do model into our database. To-do repository.save to-do. Right. Assume that now the data is already persisted in our database, but in order to do that, in order to display the data, the new data here, we need to create a new um, a new display layout again, horizontal layout, which is containing the text field for the task and also the checkbox to check if it's completed or not. In order to do that, we are going to reutilize the horizontal layout from the task layout. So I want to extract this into a new method, extract method which is called get task layout, so that I can reuse the layout here. Horizontal layout task layout is get task layout, and then text field text field text field input 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 is a new text field. I'm not sure if it's not text field input, text field task, it's called text field task, so it's better we copy it from here. Text field task, right? Text field task is a new text field with the value from the to do and checkbox task with the value from the to do dot completed, and then we put the text field and the checkbox into the task layout. After that, we want to put the horizontal layout into the available tab sheet. Then we need to extract or put the available tab sheet get out of the internal method. So this is it. This is the available tab sheet. I want to create a new variable here, which is called the what is the data type for this? This is vertical layout. So let's create the variable again, private vertical layout for a file label tab, and private vertical layout for completed tab. So once we get the to-do data, we will save into the available and completed tab. Available tab is get to-dos from which is false, and then completed tab is get to-dos true. Replace here into available, replace here into completed. And then let's get back to our listener again. We can now utilize the available tab to add the task layout. Task layout. Cool. Let's try it. What needs to be done, like wake up early, enter. Yep. Now wake up early is present in our available tab. The next thing is, as you see here, it's not clear yet. So after we enter we successfully display this data here, we want to make it clear. We want to make the text field to be clear. And in order to do that, we can use text field input text dot set value to the string empty again. Let's try again. For example, checking calendar. Yep. Now it's clear after we press the enter. Also, the data is present in here. Next thing that we want to do is we want to move the horizontal layout here and also including its contents from the available into completed when we check the checkbox. Alright, let's see the code. As you see earlier, we have two checkbox which is mentioned in the setup components and also setup listeners. Checkbox here and also checkbox here. So let's delete both of them. I'll just cut it. Checkbox. I'll just cut it, and let's create a new method to create the checkbox. Private checkbox get checkbox completed. The data is coming from the to do, and because we want not only the data to be moved but also the container, so that we need to mention the container which is become the container of this combo box checkbox, I mean, that is a horizontal layout. Let's mention horizontal layout, task layout. Right, I'll just paste the previous code. Let's create a checkbox text. Task is a new checkbox. Checkbox task is setting the value completed to do.completed and not that first. If let's put an action checkbox task dot add value chain listener e if this checkbox task if e dot get value is true, then save, then update, otherwise also update, then move to move to completed, this one move to available. Then we return the checkbox task. Not only that, I think we need to remove the checkbox, the layout, the task layout from its parent. If it's true, then otherwise, put the task layout into available tabs. All right. I think because both of them have a method, it's better to do it here. To do dot set completed get value. Let's move the value and save it into another boolean updated, set completed updated, to do repository dot save to do. If it is updated, then move it into completed. If we want to move it into completed, let's bring task layout completed tab dot add task layout. I think it's not completed tab. Oh, you're right. That's completed tab. And also then remove this task layout dot remove from parent. And for this, we want update is already done. We want to move it into available. The way to do that is task layout dot available tab dot add task layout. Right, that's all. Then we can do get checkbox completed from to do and also task layout. For this one, get checkbox completed from to do and task layout. Let's try again. Check it's not available in available tab. Let's see in the completed. It's not available yet in the completed. Oh, it's available but not directly. We need to refresh. Right, I think there is something wrong. Let's try another else. Yep, I think we need to revisit some method which is not directly refreshing the data here. I think the issue is coming from the removing from parent. We need to move this before it's checked whether it's updated or not. And also besides that, I want to set the value for the combo box by default from the to-do data. Combo box text, checkbox text, I mean, dot set value to do dot get completed. So let us try again. Right. Checking emails should be in the completed. Yes. And checking calendars should be completed. Yep. And wake up early should be completed. Wake up early. Yeah. From completed, let's bring it again into available. I want to choose review pull request. It's missing from here and should be available in available tab. All right. Now it meets our expectation. And the last touch is adding the notification to let the user know that the task is moved from available into completed and vice versa. So it should be depending on the checkbox listeners. If it is updated, show notification task with the name to do.get task is moved to completed tab. Otherwise, this task move to available tab. Let us try again. Clicking the review pull request, notification shown, task review pull request move to completed tab. Yes, and let's do the vice versa. This task is moved to available tab. Alright, that's all for the Vaadin to do application. In this stage, we have completed to create a fully persistent to-do application using Vaadin, SpringBoot, and PostgreSQL. That's all for the learning video today in this video. See you on the next one.